After beginning the race season with 2 rounds along the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, and then moving west for round number 3 from Sparks, Nevada, the riders of the Hidden Trails Yamaha Pro Watercross Tour are in St. George, Utah for the 4th round of the race season.
This place is beautiful. The sand, the beaches, everything around here is gorgeous. Clear blue water, warm temperatures. We've got some fun red rock cliffs off in the distance.
And here from Sand Hollow State Park for the Red Desert Championship, the riders will also have to contend with triple-digit temperatures.
We've got a lot of heat, but the water's nice to be in. We've got nice warm water, and the track is actually laid out really well.
Hello everyone, I'm Ian Howard, and welcome once again to St. George, Utah for the Red Desert Championship. And before we get underway, let's visit with Don Dawson for this race update.
You know, we're already over halfway mark on this national tour, but as the digits tick up into the triple digits, we're in this round number 4. Also, the intensity is starting to tick up. Let's take a look. You look at Abdullah Alfadel in that open class, and he is currently the points leader, but Herminio Iantasca was on fire in Rio, Nevada, and that guy is back out here again to see if he can garner some more points. When you look at the ski class, you've got Chris McCluggage and Dustin Matsouras. What a mashup between these two riders. But I have to say, Chris McCluggage has not put a foot wrong. And then when you add into that mix, Aaron Gawecki again, and you also add in Dave and Rediger, great riders, that is going to make for phenomenal racing this weekend. Then we take a look at the Sport GP class. In that class, Aaron Gawecki aboard that sport boat has been hard to touch. Kelly Smith, who has been the points leader coming into this, also has now got a whole bunch of work on his plate. But again, great racing. Let's see what happens this weekend.
And thanks, Don. And another nice lineup out here for Sport GP, which made the Pro Show this season, a class whose holes haven't been manufactured since the mid-1990s. However, there are aftermarket holes now being manufactured as we're off racing. We check out some highlights now from Sport GP. Your points leader coming into this round, Kelly Smith, followed by Billy Dearman, then Jeff McPhail. But the rider everyone has an eye on after taking 2 or 3 moto wins from Sparks, Nevada, is Aaron Gawecki from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And it would be Gawecki and the points leader Kelly Smith battling side by side down that front straightaway. And it would be Gawecki aboard his Bullet hull who would take command of the race.
I jumped off the line. I got pulled a little in the first corner, but my Bullet V2 blaster is working awesome.
So Gawecki, a young rider who made his debut in Sparks, Nevada just a week ago. We'd watch him go through lap traffic, then carving up the race course and carving up the competition, going inside, outside, making the passes. So Gawecki, what a formidable foe. And Kelly Smith, the points leader, hasn't had an answer, and it would be Gawecki taking home the opening moto win from St. George, Utah. Moto number 2. Could Gawecki continue the hot hand, or would points leader Kelly Smith have an answer? And up front early on would be Billy Dearman. Dearman from Madison, Mississippi, looking for the whole shot. He has 1 moto win on the season, but then coming from the inside would be Gawecki once again to overtake Dearman and take command of the race. So Gawecki with the whole shot, the leader from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. He would be followed by Billy Dearman. Kelly Smith would also be back there as he would try to make a run towards the front along with all the rest of the competition. Lap traffic again for Gawecki as he would have no issues getting past Mike Bartolomeo, a rookie rider from North Carolina. And it would be Gawecki making the passes along the front straightaway and along the backstretch. So Aaron Gawecki showing off some great riding skills up in the saddle. And it would be 3 abreast down the front straightaway, and Gawecki going right down the center would get past 2 riders. So Aaron Gawecki almost lapping the entire field, and he would be the first to cross the finish line once again. Third and final moto, would Gawecki making a perfect 3 for 3 from St. George, Utah, and he would have a good chance up front early on in this one as Billy Dearman would look for the whole shot as he would battle Gawecki. But again, Aaron Gawecki with that whole shot getting past Billy Dearman. Defending national high points champion Glenn Young on the right, along with motor builder Tim Judge to his left, forced to watch from the sidelines. He came in 4th in the points, but some engine problems knocked him out. Meanwhile, Gawecki would continue to lead it, followed by your points leader Kelly Smith, and then Billy Dearman back in 3rd place, who came in 2nd in the points. And crossing the finish line with a clean sweep and taking the overall round here from St. George, Utah, would be Aaron Gawecki. So Gawecki on top. But as we look at the points, it would be Kelly Smith, Dearman, and McPhail, your top 3.
Just can't thank all my sponsors enough. Bullet Racing, the whole team, my mom and dad, Ryan Froker for helping me out with everything. Jet Trim, Fly Racing, Quakey Sense, Rhino Power, Maxima Racing Oils.
The Red Desert Championship from St. George, Utah has been made possible by Hidden Trails Motorsports, Yamaha, Sea-Doo, St. George, Utah. Everything from A to Zion, visit stgeorge.com. And by these fine sponsors. And please send us feedback on our TV shows. Go to feedback@prowatercross.com.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. There is a place where truth is felt and where seeing is believing. There is a place.
Limitations, like fears, are often just illusion. Naples will test their limits. Pro Watercross World Championship. September, Naples.
There is a place where the desert comes alive, where rain breaks forth from solid stone and gardens spring from blistered rock. There is a place with enough color to make a rainbow jealous, where boulders are bigger than buildings and cliffs are higher than clouds. There is a place that will straighten your step, tighten your grip, widen your eyes, and open your jaw. There is a place.
In St. George, we've been looking for events that help showcase the amazing area that we get to live in. And everything from the red rock mountains to the blue skies and sunshine, great temperatures year-round, those kind of things we try to showcase with the specific kind of events. And this particular lake, Sand Hollow Lake in Hurricane, Utah, is just gorgeous. Blue, clear blue water, warm temperatures. We've got some fun red rock cliffs off in the distance. But in this lower southwest corner of Utah, you get this unique landscape where the Colorado Plateau and the Sahara Desert and the Rocky Mountains all kind of collide right in one little spot. And so you get these jutting big rocks of red rock and different variety of mesas. And it's a very unique area. So for those of you who are looking for more information about the area, go to visitstgeorge.com.
Pro-Am Runabout Stock getting set for their first of 3 motos. But first, before we get underway, let's go to Don Dawson for this update.
You know, bluntly, when we came into this round, I actually expected Troy Snyder to be coming into this in second place, because typically Reno, Nevada is his lucky spot. But as we come into round number 4, the person in second is Travis Zalesko, with Abdullah Alfadel leading the points. Troy Snyder in third, and definitely still in the hunt.
And here's a look at your Pro-Am Runabout Stock lineup, led by the points leader Abdullah Alfadel. Travis Zalesko second, Troy Snyder third, as we go on board with the young Kuwaiti, 26 years of age, on board. And just ahead of him would be Troy Snyder, came in third in the points, looking for his first moto win on the race season, a man who has challenged for the High Points Championship each and every year in recent memory. And it would be a battle up front early on. Alfadel to the inside split, Troy Snyder to the outside split, being followed by Travis Zalesko as they would carve up the race course. And up front early on would be the Kuwaiti rider, Abdullah Alfadel.
I start second, he had the first buoy, and he had also the fourth buoy, the white one, before the split. So he went to the outside, just I ride hard in the inside split, and I get him and get the whole shot and keep going on it.
So with Alfadel leading it, the battle would be behind him for third place as the young rider from South Africa and our lone female in the class, Shantae Bukes, just 20 years of age, would try to hold off Travis Zalesko, and Zalesko would get past her as Bukes would almost spin it out in the turns. Moving ahead in the action, Alfadel would continue to pace the field, looking to increase his points advantage, as the battle behind him would be for second place in a side-by-side battle between Travis Zalesko and Troy Snyder, as Snyder would have to give ground and Zalesko would get past him for that second spot on the race course. And you see it on replay once again, a great battle down that front straightaway, and Snyder missing the buoy and would also be dropped to third place, and later on be dropped out of the race with mechanical issues as his wife and motor builder Tim Judge would look on in disappointment. And a nice wave there by our winner in Moto 1, that being Abdullah Alfadel, as he would take home the opening Moto win. Pick up the action now in Moto number 2, about a third the way through the second Moto. Alfadel would lead it, Troy Snyder second, Shantae Bukes third, and then Travis Zalesko back in fourth. Moving ahead in the action, Alfadel would continue to lead it. Snyder, looking for his first Moto win, would be dropped down to third as Zalesko would get past both Bukes and Snyder, moving into that second spot after a very poor beginning for Travis Zalesko. Shantae Bukes trying to make up some ground now, and Zalesko, though, off his boat into the water, so a tough break for Travis, who came in third in the points. And crossing the finish line first once again would be the points leader, Abdullah Alfadel. He'd make it a perfect 2 for 2. Third and final moto for Pro-Am Runabout Stock. Abdullah Alfadel has all but sewn up yet another overall win if he could just finish this third and final moto after taking home wins in Moto 1 and Moto number 2. And it would be Troy Snyder up front early on. So it'd be Snyder with the whole shot. Travis Zalesko would check out in second place behind Snyder. Then in third place, Shantae Bukes from South Africa. And the points leader, Abdullah Alfadel, after a very poor start, all the way back and forth. Zalesko weaving his way around the race course. Snyder following suit. Shantae Bukes right in their wake, and Alfadel trying to make a move, trying for his third consecutive moto win. Moving ahead to lap number 4, and Alfadel would start to put together a good run as he would first get past Shantae Bukes and move into third. Ahead one more lap, and a mistake on the race course would cost Zalesko as he'd be forced to go around the equalizer buoy, allowing Alfadel to get past him for second. Then on lap number 7, through the split section on the race course, Alfadel would make the comeback stick. Working from the outside, he'd get past Troy Snyder and take command of the race. So Abdullah Alfadel, the 26-year-old from Kuwait City, Kuwait, would come from behind after starting in dead last place, and he would do a leg stand at the finish line for good measure. So the overall again would go to Abdullah Alfadel as he would sweep his way through St. George and leave with the points lead intact.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Yamaha Factory Racing, Scott Watkins, Dave Bamas from Riva Racing, and Dean's team. He tuned my boat, and he had the fastest boat over here.
And we'll be back with more race action from the Red Desert Championship from Sand Hollow State Park in St. George, Utah, right after this. Welcome back to the Hidden Trails Yamaha Pro Watercross Tour. It's the Red Desert Championship from Sand Hollow State Park in St. George, Utah, as we're getting set for our biggest and fastest class, Pro-Am Runabout Open. And for this update, let's go to Don Dawson, who's in the pits.
You know, I'd say the biggest factor to win a national tour is being able to play the game of consistency. Gentlemen, at the top of this point leader right now, that is Abdullah Al-Fadel. He's been consistent all the way through this tour so far. As we come into round number 4, though, you have got to take a look at Arminio Iantoska. He took a big broom and did a big sweep in Reno, Nevada, and he is out here in force. I can't wait to see what happens this weekend. But I tell you, we're getting into fewer and fewer rounds. Every single podium is going to really count now.
And here's a look at your lineup for Pro-Am Runabout Open, led by your points leader, Abdullah Al-Fadel from Kuwait City, Kuwait. He'll also have the onboard camera to give us a great perspective of what it's like to be a Pro-Am Runabout Open competitor, the biggest and fastest class on the water, and it would be a great battle down the front straightaway in this opening moto of race action. And Al-Fadel would nearly collide with Troy Snyder there, as he would get past the rider from Bradenton, Florida, and look for the hole shot. So Al-Fadel working from the inside, and Arminio Iantoska, glad to have him back after he broke down in the opening round, missed the second round, then came back to take an overall last week from Sparks, Nevada. And it would be Arminio Iantoska aboard a Sea-Doo who would check out with a commanding lead, and Al-Fadel would take us back to the near miss he had with Troy Snyder.
Bad crash on the hole shot with the Troy. He pushed me in the left side. So it's racing, and tomorrow will be different for me.
So Al-Fadel talking about going side by side with Snyder right off the start as the two nearly collided. Meanwhile, Iantoska would continue to lead it. Al-Fadel giving it his all. Back there in second, Shante Bukes third, and then Troy Snyder dropped to that fourth position as he would try to hang with the leaders. And more frustration for Snyder as he would be forced out of the race. So some issues with both his stock and open ski that would cost him. And at the finish line, it would be Arminio Iantoska taking home the moto win.
Had a good start, hole shotted, just rode some smart, clean laps, and ended up winning that moto, so it was good.
Moto number 2, a great bird's eye view from the helmet cam being worn by Abdullah Al-Fadel, second in moto number 1, as he would go side by side with Sea-Doo's Arminio Iantoska, so a manufacturer's battle. As you get a look at the race course from Abdullah Al-Fadel, the points leader coming into this one, should be a great showdown with he and Iantoska as the two battled much of moto number 1, and it would be Al-Fadel from the outside taking home the whole shot. The question would be, where's Arminio Iantoska as Shante Bukes would come through the splits, and Arminio Iantoska would be forced out once again with some mechanical issues.
Broke a steering cable, that's what happens when you're turning big juice. Got a lot more power now, so we'll get a heavier duty steering cable in there.
So after blowing up his motor in the opening round, Iantoska missed the second round, swept round number 3, and here in round number 4, braking once again, allowing Abdullah Al-Fadel to take home the moto win. Third and final moto here for Pro-Am Runabout Open, and Abdullah Al-Fadel would battle with Shante Bukes, the 20-year-old from South Africa, as the two would battle as Shante would look for her first moto win of the race season. Lap number 4, and Shante Bukes from the outside would get past Al-Fadel, working from the inside as Shante would look for her first win.
I had a nice battle with Abdullah in the end. We just had fun today. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So Bukes, who made her debut on the American Tour last year, would come through the outside split and outlast Abdullah Al-Fadel for her first moto win of the season. So the former women's runabout champion making her name for herself racing with the men, as she would be victorious here in moto number 3. However, the overall would go to Abdullah Al-Fadel as he took home 2 moto wins, and he would also leave St. George, Utah with the points lead intact.
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Yamaha Factory Racing, Dean Cherry to build the fast boat here, Riva Racing, Dave Bamas, Scott Watkins, and Aziz, my friend, and I really enjoy it here.
The Red Desert Championship from St. George, Utah has been made possible by Hidden Trails Motorsports, Yamaha, Sea-Doo, St. George, Utah. Everything from A to Zion, visit stgeorge.com. And by these fine sponsors. And please send us feedback on our TV shows. Go to feedback@prowatercross.com.
There is a place where looking out means looking in, where an impression lasting only a few seconds will be imprinted on a life forever, where courage is forged and innocence rediscovered, where remembering is rewarding and forgetting unforgettable. there is a place where truth is felt, and where seeing is believing. There is a place.
Limitations, like fears, are often just illusion. Naples will test their limits. Pro Watercross World Championship. September, Naples.
There is a place where the desert comes alive, where rain breaks forth from solid stone and gardens spring from blistered rock. There is a place with enough color to make a rainbow jealous, where boulders are bigger than buildings and cliffs are higher than clouds. There is a place that will straighten your step, tighten your grip, widen your eyes, and open your jaw. There is a place.
Welcome back to the Hidden Trails Yamaha Pro Watercross Tour. It's the Red Desert Championship. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ian Howard. Fourth round of race action and our biggest and fastest ski class now on the water, GP Ski. And for this update, let's go to Don Dawson. Don?
You know, as we come into this round, you got to just take a look back. First off, we don't have Jimmy Wilson on this round, who did so great in the first couple of rounds. But I'll tell you who we do have, David Redinger, who has been on fire, got the whole shot last week in Reno, Nevada. That guy is awesome. Aaron Gawecki made a big splash in Pro-Am Ski GP. The story goes to Dustin Matsouras and Chris McCluggage battling it out for points right now. Chris McCluggage has not been able to put a foot wrong, and he certainly started this tour out great because he got to play in Surf, which is his favorite venue. But now as we transfer over to this flat water, it's an opportunity for Dustin Matsouras to capitalize.
Another huge lineup for Pro-Am Ski GP, led by the points leader Chris McCluggage, who has won the opening 3 rounds of race action. 2-time former Pro Ski World champion Dustin Matsouras also in the lineup, as we watch action now from heat number 1, a qualifier for lane choice for the all-important winner-take-all main event, and immediately the red flag would come out and Chris McCluggage would be penalized for jumping the start.
Told my holder on the line I was either going to jump the start or hole shot, and I ended up jumping the line.
So Chris McCluggage would be forced to start with a dead engine and his hand above his head as we go on board with Dustin Matsouras second in the points, as he would lead all the riders down the front straightaway. Matsouras, 38 years of age, from South Africa, comes in, as we said, second in the points with a pair of second-place finishes and a third-place showing behind Chris McCluggage, who has swept all 3 rounds this race season. The question would be early on, could Matsouras check out with the whole shot and hold off the entire field, as he would go for his first main event win of the season. We'd go on board with Matsouras down the front straightaway as he would check out with a whole shot, and you'd watch the entire field in behind him all vie for position.
A good whole shot. My Commander K1 Rockstar Energy ski was flying, so I was able to get the whole shot and actually built up a good lead at the beginning.
So the Commander Industries Rockstar entry up front with Matsouras, and behind him would be Cody Copenhaver, followed by Brock Austin, the rider from Utah. So much of a home race for Austin, as Chris McCluggage, the points leader, would be lurking back in 4th place behind those 2 young riders, Copenhaver and Austin, as he would try to make up some ground. A battle for first would ensue then, as Matsouras would get lost on the race course and almost relinquish the lead, as Copenhaver would nearly overtake him.
Unfortunately, got a little bit lost on the backside of the course. It's a little bit confusing right around the back straightaway area, and pretty much gave away my whole lead.
So the veteran rider nearly getting lost on the race course. Meanwhile, the action would be impressive behind him, as that battle for third would rage on. Copenhaver, Austin, and then Chris McCluggage, the veteran rider, would get past Austin from Bountiful, Utah. Austin would go down momentarily, and Big Mac would move into third. Meanwhile, the Rockstar Commander Industries ski of Dustin Matsouras would continue to lead it, and Big Mac Chris McCluggage from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, would get past Cody Copenhaver and move into second. Meanwhile, the veteran rider Rob Flores from Las Vegas, Nevada, riding since 1988, forced out with mechanical issues, and it would be Dustin Matsouras taking home the qualification heat victory. He would have lane choice for the all-important main event. So here's your lineup for the Pro-Am Ski GP main event, round number 4 here from Sand Hollow State Park, St. George, Utah. And on the pole would be Dustin Matsouras, the veteran rider from South Africa. After taking home the qualification heat victory, he earned the pole, and he's also sporting the onboard camera as he would go down the front straightaway looking for the hole shot, but instead it would be his teammate David Redinger from Spokane, Washington, who would challenge the veteran as they would go side by side through the splits. So the two riders racing for Commander and Rockstar would go through the inside-outside split. So nonetheless, Commander Rockstar would have a rider up front.
I got a great start on my Commander K1. Actually, David Redinger and myself had an amazing start. So we actually came into the first turn pretty much rubbing rails with each other. And obviously he's my teammate, so it was awesome just to, for us to be that close.
And it would be Matsouras recording the whole shot, followed by his teammate David Redinger from Spokane, Washington, now makes his home in Boise, Idaho, as Matsouras would go for his first main event win of the season. Redinger right behind him in second.
Matsouras and myself, we got a good start. Came out first and second. He was in first. And I was following him through the outside split for most of the race. It seemed to be the smoother split to go.
So with the two Commander Industries skis up front early on, the battle for third would ensue. Cody Copenhaver and Chris McCluggage would battle side by side.
A couple mistakes, and it's one of those days where I'm going to try to win the championship on a bad day. You got to get through the bad days and come back strong, and definitely be back.
And Mac would get past Copenhaver just like he did back in the qualification heat. Meanwhile, back up front, a huge mistake by the leader, Dustin Matsouras. After getting lost momentarily in the qualification heat and holding on for the win, he would go up and over the buoy here in the main event, and that would cost him.
Fortunately, just got caught up in some lappers and just went over a buoy. So had to go pick up the missed buoy. That obviously gave David the chance to get by me.
Next thing I knew, he was down right in front of me and had missed a buoy, and it allowed me to kind of overtake him and lead the rest of the race.
So it'd be David Redinger looking for his first main event win on the season. Remember, he succumbed to fatigue 1 week ago in Sparks, Nevada. After leading it, he was dropped to 4th place, but not this time. David Redinger would cross the finish line first, come from behind in this one, as Dustin Matsouras would finish in second. Chris McCluggage would then finish in third. So your points leader would finish on the podium, and high fives and all around in celebration there for the Commander Industries Rockstar team. What a dynamic duo of David Redinger and Dustin Matsouras as you get a look at all the results. So congrats to David Redinger, but leaving with the points intact would be Chris McCluggage, as we heard from our winner afterwards.
I'd like to thank Commander Industries. They've backed me since I was 15 years old. Fly Racing, Blosian, Rockstar, Villain Clothing, RM Racing, Rhino Power, Jet Trim, and Villain Clothing. These guys are awesome. Thank you.
And that'll do it from Sand Hollow State Park and the Red Desert Championship here from St. George, Utah. So on behalf of Don Dawson, our entire crew, I'm Ian Howard saying so long once again, and we'll see you next time right back here on The Water.